Hello and welcome into the Coach Yeager's Playbook. I'm William Galloway alongside Coach Yeager. Coach, great to be with you this week.
Good to be here, William.
I tell you what, I don't know if your heart rate's come back down, and surely, I'm sure it has. It's about game time, and we're getting ready to welcome Chalkville tonight, but what a thrilling game at Homewood last week. Tell us just a little bit about your preliminary thoughts here on Coach Yeager's Playbook presented by Reeves Construction.
Well, great game, and everybody wants to focus on the last play of the game. But, if you look at the game, there were 151 plays, and 151 plays, we were never in the lead until the 151st play. We were either tied or trailing the whole game. And so it just goes to show, you just have to keep playing. And, those 150 plays led up to the 151, and every one of them, they were important. And so, it's absolutely, it's sort of a tortoise and hare kind of story, but it's also the importance of the process. The other thing too is an incredible high school atmosphere. Homewood, they were great hosts to us. One of the most impressive things to me about the game was when the game was over with and our guys were celebrating as they should have been. Coach Bergeson and his staff, they got the Homewood players there and they were waiting on us to congratulate us after the game was over. I thought that was such a classy move. I had a great conversation with Dr. Joel Henneke, and it was an incredible high school experience. But the most important thing is, we move on. This game is a very finicky game. It does not care what you did yesterday. There's a saying, that fame is a vapor, popularity is an accident, riches take wings, and those who cheer you today will curse you tomorrow. And that's true. It does not care, and so we've got to get ready to play an incredible opponent. Moving forward.
Absolutely. We're moments away from kickoff, Mountain Brook versus Chalkville tonight, but let's talk about lessons learned in that game and kind of what you've done to turn the page, because you've seen high highs and then obviously we've suffered some low lows this year, be it on the field, off the field, glory, defeat, injury, all those things. But what has been your message to the team to move on and to turn that page and get ready for this week? And also takeaways, you talked about not leading until literally no time on the clock and the game was over until we had the lead, but lessons learned for your team and your program through that entire game and that experience last week.
Well, there's been so many things this year to me, it's sort of out of our control. The nature of the game, you're going to have the injuries, you're going to have great opponents that you play, and there's just tons of things that you cannot control. But the one thing that you're given this opportunity for this play to control this play. And so control it in a great way, give it the best that you've got, and then, and don't think about the outcome, and so, and that's sort of how the whole season's been. You control this workout, you control this practice, you control this play, whatever's been given to you and whatever you're a steward of, just be a great steward of whatever's been given you, to use your talents, to get better.
Yeah, someone who's gotten better and someone who hadn't had complete control of everything this season is Hayes Wendell. Mm-hmm. Senior defensive back, played a lot last year as a junior and has gone back and forth on injury, but being healthy more recently. Now, so talk about Hayes. We like to talk about guys and what they bring to your program. Hayes has contributed on the field tremendously. He's a multi-sport athlete, but what do you see in a guy like number 18, our senior defensive back? What does he bring to your program?
Well, first of all, on the defense, the defense, kept us in the game. They basically, we had a shutout the second half, and at halftime, we're down 17-7, and then we told them, said, you guys are going to shut them out the second half, and they did. Coach Stearns and the whole defensive staff did a great job. But within that, Hayes played every down. He's coming off an injury. We did not anticipate him playing every down. And, you've got to get back out there. You haven't been on the field in a few weeks, and all of a sudden you've got to adjust to the speed of the game. They have some success early, but you got to keep playing forward. And Hayes, to me, is just the epitome of what we're talking about. You play this down the very best you can. And, I was so proud of the way he played in that game.
Absolutely. I was at practice last week prior to the Homewood game, and you saw Hayes, and he was working his way back, and some other guys, and you kind of looked around, position group and assignments and all these things, and you think, wow, if you see some of these guys that are out right now, and you had told me we'd be in the position that we are, I wouldn't have believed you. But we're in the position we are offensively because of the quarterback, Caden Hoffbauer. So he's the other guy I want to ask you about. He led the charge on the field. We all saw that. 59 seconds, 94 yards, and just commanded the offense. We called him Tom Brady on the broadcast, I think. But Caden, your senior quarterback, second-year starter, brings a ton to not only the field and what he can do with his legs, with his arm, with his mind, and leading the group of guys, but also as a young man. So tell us about your quarterback and who he is on the field and off the field.
Well, the thing that I'm most pleased with Caden about is how he has grown as a young man, and his ability to lead. Great to me, great players, great quarterbacks, whatever position that you play, they elevate the play of the people around them. And I don't care, you can say any kind of quality, any kind of attribute, that can only come from having a mind of serving other people. Everybody talks about how Caden, he improvises and he does a great job of that. And the last play was definitely he improvised. But people, you don't realize the 150 plays that we had prior to that play, that he's functioning within the system, trying to get the plays to the numbers, making the right reads, and all the things that are necessary for a quarterback to do. But it's a plateful, and just the emotional part of it, the leadership part of it, the skill set part of it, the mental part of it. It's a lot, and he handles it well. It's a lot, and he handles it well.
Every position on the field, be it special teams, offense, defense, is critical. So I want to add, this is kind of a bonus question I'm just inserting, but obviously everything starts with your center and your quarterback. And Coach Brad Easley works, hands-on with the quarterbacks and the offense. But is there any type of, not to say special attention, but certain circumstances where you have to spend a more extended period of time with the quarterback to go over situational preparedness and also, cover all aspects of the game because of that unique position on the field?
Well, Coach Easley meets with Caden, daily. They have time together, and the bottom line is Caden has to think about it system-wise the same as Coach Easley. I think Coach Easley does a great job, teaching the whole offense and teaching to all the players, and but they do, and it's you've got to be a student of the game. You cannot be tired. You can't get tired of learning about the system. You just have to keep learning and learning and learning, because we do. As coaches, we don't stop learning. So they've got, the bottom line is coaches, we're just students among students, and so they're doing the same.
Right, and we're going to see our unique system tonight, and it has not given a fit, but it has troubled Clay last season. We were driving towards the end of the game, so we welcome the Clay Chalkville Cougars, the fans, the community making their way over to Spartan Stadium. We're glad you're here tonight, and we look forward to this contest, but this was a one-score game last year, and we've said multiple times last year's results and successes or lessons learned don't always translate into the next season. It's a new team, it's a new program. But this Clay Chalkville team, they've got the accolades, they've got the stars, they're nationally ranked, they're coming off a win versus a great team in Thompson. That game was at home for Clay, and a 4-point win over Thompson. So, one of the best teams in the state comes to our house, and we're finally back at home. What do you make of this matchup and what you need to do to have success against a great team tonight?
Well, I think that Clay Chalkville is the best team in the state in any classification. They've got incredible athletes. They're unbelievably coached by Coach Floyd and his staff. But to me, you've got Corey Barber, who I think he may be the best player in the state, and Aaron Fry. And the quarterback, and they throw deep shots. I think they've got the best offensive lineman in the state too, and Jaden Jones. Defense is unbelievable. They got in the secondary Xavier Starks. They got Roden McIntyre as a defensive lineman. They've got a linebacker crew, that would rival a great NFL linebacker crew. They are a very complete team, very accomplished team, and a very, to me, watching them play, they're a very hungry team too. So it's going to be a great challenge for us. It's going to be a great opportunity for us to learn, get better. The speed of the game is about to go up for us. It's going to be more physical. It's going to be more fast. But that's what we need to grow. And it's going to be a great opponent for that, and we're excited about that.
But because of the level of competition and because of how good they are as a team and a program, there's not anything different that you do, I'm sure, in preparation, because it's a region game, and at the end of the day, as you've said before, it's our guys lining up, running our schemes, and looking at our tape and having all of our matchups and figuring out what we need to do to have success. So really, it's you against you at the end of the day, as you like to say.
Sure, it is. That's the only thing that we can control. We cannot control how good they are, and they are good. But what we can control is we can control our effort, we control our attitude, we control how we handle success, how we handle failure. We can control all those things. And so, we're excited about that opportunity.
Yeah, that'll be on display tonight here shortly in Spartan Stadium. And also tonight we welcome the youth of Mountain Brook, youth band, youth cheer, and youth football. So it's youth night here on this October 3rd in Spartan Stadium. Coach, I want to ask you about the youth and all of those programs and all of our community, not just football and not as it pertains to fall sports, but these are the future of Spartans, and these are the future students of Mountain Brook Junior High, Mountain Brook High School, and they're going to matriculate and go on and do great things from this community. So tell me about the youth in Mountain Brook and how important it is that they get involved in whether it's athletics or organizations, and we get to see them tonight run through with the football team. We get to see the young ladies cheer in Spartan Arena and the young talented musicians perform with the band. So how special is that, and just what's your message about how great our youth programs are here in Mountain Brook?
Well, every one of our players on the team now, every senior, they were that youth at one time, and they dreamed of being where they are now. Every one of those football players, cheerleaders, the band, all those youth, they all dream of being a part of Friday night one day in Spartan Arena. And to me, it represents the dreams of our community, the dreams of these young people. And not just the dreams in sports and athletics, but beyond. And it's so exciting. It's exciting to see how our community, and a lot of times, parents pour back into the youth. But what's amazing to me, and what separates Mountain Brook, is people that are outside of the families of these people, that the citizens that are within Mountain Brook that don't have children, that are pouring back into the youth. So anyway, it's just, to me, it's so unique, and it's so fulfilling to see these programs grow the way that they have.
I think one thing that's cool, and we'll talk about the football aspect, talking to our head football coach, Chris Yeager, here on this show, is the youth football program does not have dad's coach. And I think that's unique. I think there's maybe, I'm spitballing here, but 380 kids, 3rd through 6th grade, playing football, and they're all coached by men who are not their fathers. It's young men who've come back to give back to the Mountain Brook community, who grew up, who played for your program, went to college, and maybe moved back to Birmingham. It's dads. Douglas Grant comes to mind, former players, Wayne Ingram, my broadcast partner, who just for years and years come back and give to the program, and that's super special. So welcome all of our youth families, whether you're band, football, or cheer. Welcome in tonight. Thank you for making Mountain Brook football and being here in Spartan Stadium a part of your Friday night tonight as we start our October slate. So Coach, give us our final word as we get ready to hit the road and play some football tonight back at home in Spartan Stadium.
Yeah, it's so exciting to be back home and to have a home crowd. I know that we'll have a great showing from our people in Mountain Brook. And anyway, so excited about this game, and just thank you for the people that have been on the road with us for the last 3 weeks. And now, finally, home sweet home, here we are.
And we're going to go for the win right here, Wayne.
Inside leverage on 22.
Motion to the near side of the screen, and errant snap from the Spartans.
Oh, it's a bad snap! Hoffmeyer!
Hoffbauer's going to have to pull out a miracle. He's approaching midfield and is going to have to heave it long. Goes for the end zone.
He'll throw it.
Whoa, we've got a man, and we bring it in.
He caught it!
We got it!
He caught it,
the
Willie!
Heave
He caught it!
2.0
He
in
caught it!
overtime at Homewood.
Hewitt,
He
Testel,
caught
Homewood! It
Wow.
don't matter! Oh my God!
History is doomed to repeat itself, and the Spartans win it in overtime, going for 2 at Homewood.
And,
Wow!
And